welcome. Look out, Joe's about to punch. Oh, I hit you. For two. Ooh, the left. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the Double Cup Joe Show.
Morning.
If you haven't been here before, I'm your host, Joe.
I'm your other host, Joe.
And together we're gonna talk about some fun stuff. We're gonna have your day start off, or maybe a change to go right somewhere through it. But we're glad you're here with us. If you're here on the early East Coast time here, 7 o'clock. It's not that early.
That is
But we're glad you came to join us.
not as early as it is in the Central Time Zone,
Yes.
or the Mountain Time Zone, or the Pacific Time Zone.
You are correct.
But it is kind of late in Australia and the Philippines. Like after dinner over there.
After dinner?
Yeah, it's like 7 p.m.
The date line. I'm thinking like
anytime can be after dinner.
Like
right now it's after dinner from yesterday.
I think it's Hawaii is east of the time zone though, or the day change. So it's like
wee
1 in the morning or something. Oh no, Hawaii's way west of that. They're probably like way early. Anyway,
I don't know what it is.
Neither do I.
Confused.
Hey, if you're confused as we are, go ahead and use Google. You don't know how time works.
Google can help. Yes.
Anyway, so we're just here to help your day go well wherever you are in it. So thanks for joining us. It's always wonderful to see you. Well, see what you have to say in the chat, and to just kind of have this time where we get to hang out. So Ted says apparently it's time for coffee, which is probably, he says, is the most important time, but that could be any time.
Time for coffee. Coffee time. Maybe. Right, Joe? Because you like coffee.
Yeah, because you know how much I love coffee.
You love it.
Coffee.
You love it. 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 Love it. Love it.
You know how they say if you say something over and over again, eventually it'll make it true?
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't happen. That's a lie.
You should totally do that. You should try it. You should be like, I like coffee. 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 And you say it with passion.
Yeah, there was
believe it in your heart, in your mind.
There was this thing though, where my parents raised me not to lie. And so I can't lie that many times successively, or it just starts to eat away at me.
Like my conscience hurts.
We could be off on tangents like this all day.
All day.
So we will come back to some more fun tangents. But for now, let's go ahead and move on to our 3-step routine process, whatever you want to call it. It's 3 questions to ask yourself to get your day going in the right direction. Simply, what are you thankful for? What are you looking forward to? And what are you going to do today to move your life? And we encourage you to participate. Every time we do this, it'll get you your mindset going in the right way. Since we want to make sure Joe's mindset's going in the right way for the show, I'm going to start by asking him, what are you thankful for?
I'm thankful for a lot of stuff. It's Wednesday.
Ooh.
It's a beautiful day. Oh man, I'm so excited for today because I do have to do some inspections today, which is kind of a bummer. But we have a BSS staff meeting today, which is always exciting and fun. And we have Don't Worry Wednesday, the Wednesday edition tonight.
Ooh.
And we have this show. It's just a day full of awesome stuff. Like, I'm just excited for all of that. So I'm very thankful for the opportunities to be on streaming with all of you guys. I'm thankful for the chance to be using Zoom to get together with everybody on the BSS staff. And the fact that we can be doing things during all this quarantine, social distancing, even as things are getting lifted. I mean, Michigan's kind of like, one of the last holdouts. Like we're all like, nope, we're still hunkering down. The rest of the world might be opening back up, but not us. We're staying put. So even in the midst of all that, we can still get together and operate, and it's great. So I'm just really thankful for all the cool stuff planned for today.
Yeah. Sweet. Sweet. It's gonna be fun. For a second there, I thought you were gonna say we had like a special guest or something. I'm like, Joe, I wasn't ready.
Ready, go.
Okay.
Special guest. We're putting him in there.
Change up all of our
like that screen setup you have, like that.
Yeah.
That's all changing now. Like, float it.
Mm-hmm. It reminds me, I should probably set something up for if we ever have guests.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Put them right in the middle.
The whole middle of the screen.
Bang!
To be like the Brady Bunch or something.
The Brady Bunch.
That's probably. I can't believe you know that. You're only 19.
I know. Reruns, man. Reruns.
Yep.
TV Land, I think they called that.
Yep. Anyway, so that's step number one. What are you thankful for? It can be really anything that's happened in your life. So,
Jeff, did you see what Jeff's thankful for? He's thankful for the tea he spilled all over himself 10 minutes ago wasn't hotter.
That's a true legend of thankfulness right there.
I'm happy for you that you didn't burn your lap. That would really stink.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff's thankful for pancakes.
Pancakes.
You got 8 pancakes for breakfast. Wow, man, that's some pancake eating.
Yeah, it is.
Now, are your pancakes, were they like? Because there are pancakes, and there are pancakes. What kind of pancakes were yours? Were yours like the little itty bitty silver, little tiny ones, or were they like the plate size pancakes, like? There's this restaurant in Michigan called Tony's. That's another thing I'm thankful for.
Tony's.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, this place, it's ridiculous, right? So they give you whole bunches of food. It's amazing. Like you go get some pancakes, and they're huge, right? And you get an omelet, and it's made with 12 eggs.
What?
12 egg omelet.
Eating that for days.
Yeah, and a half a pound of bacon.
What?
In this omelet, yeah. And you order bacon by the pound. Like you order a pound of bacon.
Wow. Okay.
As a side of bacon. You get a BLT, bacon, lettuce, tomato sandwich, pound of bacon on the sandwich. And like a half a loaf of bread, like this. Oh, it's like, oh. And then the ice cream. Like a half a gallon of ice cream. Like, it's an amazing place. So if y'all are ever in Michigan, in the middle of Michigan, there's a place called Tony's in Birch Run, Michigan. Go there. We are not sponsored by Tony's. And they're probably closed due to coronavirus. But when they open again, it's a great
flood
place.
Tony's. Tell them that Joe sent you. We're still not sponsored, but you can still tell them.
They're dinner plate size, Tef says.
Delicious.
8 dinner plate size of pancakes. You had to be full. That's a good feeling. Big. I'd be like, nap time.
Yep. So yeah, heck, food, places to eat food. There's lots you can be thankful for. So find something, get happy about it.
Right.
Nice. All right, that brings us on
Forget
to
the
step number
problem.
2.
Happy.
What are you looking forward to, Joe?
I'm looking forward to in the future because we're on this food tangent now. Tev says I was stuffed for 2 hours. I imagine you're just
Only 2.
like, whoa. um, I'm looking forward to the day
Mm.
when the all-you-can-eat buffet opens again. I imagine it's going to be quite some time because with all the, with I mean, I was talking to Kyle yesterday, and we were talking about some of this stuff, and when I was like, it's gonna stink. There's gonna be no all-you-can-eat buffets because, like, you can't go and I mean, with people touching the same utensils to get their food and everything. I mean, there's gonna be none of that. I mean, sneeze guard, schmeeze guard, it doesn't even matter anymore. Like, it's like, so I'm looking forward to the day when we can go to all-you-can-eat buffet again because that used to be such a wonderful place. We got some great ones in the Lansing area here, and they're all going to be closed for forever.
Mm.
Probably until there's a vaccine, I would imagine. You know, but yeah, I'm looking forward to the day when I can go with my family to all you can eat buffet. We can go and eat. By then, my kids will probably be old enough; they don't have to be accompanied by an adult.
Well, that means their buffet's more expensive though.
What's that?
I said that means their buffet's more expensive
Yes,
though.
yes, that's true. That's true. They got to pay full adult price at that point. But oh well, it'll be worth it. I'm looking forward to that day.
That, that's yep. I see that. I miss CC's pizza.
Oh,
Buffet
Cece's
of
pizza,
pizza.
so good. Yeah, there are none of those in Michigan anymore. They closed them all down before. Unless you knew of one. I mean, we were looking for them.
I
We couldn't
think I
find
think
any.
there was one in Battle Creek.
Oh, Battle Creek. Okay.
I know. I used to know where the one on in Kalamazoo was, but that
Okay.
one closed down.
Yeah. Mm. We
So
were even looking over in the Detroit area. We thought there might have been one over like in Warren or something, and then nope, that was closed.
sad days. Anywho, so that's step number 2. What are you looking forward to?
Looking
But
forward to
whether
the
it be
buffets.
buffets, it could be a Twitch stream. Um, could be Don't Worry Wednesday happening on this channel at 9 o'clock tonight. Um,
Rocket wants to be 19 and have as much energy as you.
oh yeah, that's okay. You can do that. That's easy. um, so cool, very cool stuff, guys. Very cool stuff. Um, a lot. There's a lot to be looking forward to, especially
Yes.
even now. Like even as things look kind of like weird in life, you always have a lot you can be looking forward to. So
Yeah. And here's another thing to look forward to. I got an email this morning saying that our hard copy proof of the book for us to review is now on its way. It'll be here on Friday.
ooh,
So then we can make the decision to go to final production for the book. I'm looking forward to that too. It's going to be sweet.
hmm. Yeah, that is gonna be sweet. I am excited.
Yeah.
You guys should be excited too. Joe's run in place. Look at that speed, the agility.
Well, that.
All right, so that's step number 2. Now step number 3. This is the action step. Plan, do, check, adjust. We're on to doing,
Do
and
it.
doing requires that we. What are we gonna do today? Yes, that question. What are we gonna do today? Move our lives forward in a good direction, not a bad direction. Forward towards what our purpose is. So, Joe, what are you gonna do today?
You know what I'm going to do today?
No, that's why I asked.
I'm going to keep along this tangent of food because
Okay.
I'm enjoying this direction that we're
Mhm.
going on. I am going to cook some food. I'm going to cook 2 trays full of bacon
Ooh,
in the oven. You know, bacon in the oven is the best.
bacon.
So I'm going to load up 2 cookie sheet trays full of bacon. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
pop it in the oven. I'm going to have it, and it's going to be there for like leftovers.
Ooh,
Ran out yesterday. I ran out of bacon, cooked bacon. So I'm like, must be time to make some bacon.
good choice.
Yeah. So today I'm gonna cook some bacon. Other than that, that's surrounding all the other things I have on my to-do list. But that one thing, since we're kind of on this food thing, that's the
Mm-hmm.
one I'm gonna do. It's gonna be good. It's
Yeah,
gonna make the house is gonna smell great for like the whole tomorrow and everything.
perfect.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of goes back to what we were talking about yesterday, where you do the little things and then celebrate those. So you're gonna make some bacon and then celebrate by probably eating some bacon.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Good
I'm
choice.
going to eat bacon.
Well, Tef, we wish you luck in succeeding in buying groceries. You can do it.
Yes, you win.
You win. Well, that's it. That's in case you didn't know, that was 3 steps. So we're done. This is a 3-step process. What are you thankful for? What are you looking forward to? And what are you gonna do today to move your life forward?
Mm-hmm.
Can be food related. Like if you go off on a tangent, like, oh, I can be thankful and doing and looking forward to these things about one particular part of your life. You can do that. Like there's nothing stopping you. The point is to just get your mind in a positive direction of thought.
Absolutely.
So do that
Yep.
every single day. Every day. Our show's only 5 days a week, but that doesn't stop you from doing it 7 days a week, 8 days a week, 9 days a week. Go ahead and do it. So
What kind of bacon? You know what kind of bacon? It's going to be the thick cut, hickory smoked. Yeah, stuff. And I find I can fit more on the tray if I cut it in half first.
hmm.
Like I take the slab, and it's in the strips and everything. So I take it while it's still a big slab, and I cut it
Mm-hmm.
in half. And then when I do that, I can line up more. I can like pack it in tighter and cook extra.
Hmm.
Mm, so good. I'm telling you, ever since like I first experienced this maybe like a month ago where I cooked bacon in the oven and now it's cooking show now. But so you take your cookie sheets, right? You line them with tin foil and then you preheat your oven to 400 degrees and then
Nice.
you put the rack on like you put the rack kind of in the lower part of the oven, right? And then you can so like in the lower third of the oven, and then you can like stick them in there. It takes about 20 minutes in there. Mm, mwah, so good. You don't have to flip it. You don't get grease spattering all over your arms. None of that stuff. And because you've lined your cookie sheets with tinfoil, all you do then is you pour your grease out. We have a little grease can thing, save your grease for later type of thing. And so you just pour the grease into the can, wad up the tinfoil, throw it away, good to go.
Don't you have to do
Ah,
dishes? Perfect.
yeah. Well, I personally, if I was the only one living in this house, I probably wouldn't wash the cookie sheets. But other people here are like, let's wash them actually still. Okay, fine. I'll chuck them in the dishwasher for you, no big deal. But but there's no scrubbing, there's no big messy cleanup. It's just a wonderful way to cook bacon. But yeah, thick cut.
Mm,
That's mm,
best kind.
yeah, gonna be good.
Sweet. Thanks, Joe. This has been Cooking with Joe, a new segment.
New segments Wednesdays, right here. Cooking.
All
Tune
right,
in
maybe
next week where I take a can of chicken and a can of beans and I mix them together and throw an egg on top.
you. I mean,
And have a nice hot cup of coffee with it. Joe's favorite.
oh my goodness, we went from delicious sounding to really sad really fast. But let's get off this topic so that I can eat later. Anyway, thanks for participating in our three-step process. We're going to go ahead and move on to our topic today. Our topic, of course, is the big ones. We were talking about adjustments, talking about why in the world do you make them? What are they? And so we have Joe here, who's going to be our expert, as it were. And let us preface by saying we are not professionals. We might be experts, but we're not professionals. um, he's going to tell us about making big adjustments.
Hmm.
So, Joe, take it away.
Yeah, I've had to do this. Step three. Raka says, I'm gonna wait until we've moved on from the three-step process before I answer. I see. Nice. You're gonna throw a wrench in there. Now, if you were a moderator, you'd have a wrench next to your name. You could throw it in there. But I don't know how to make people moderators. I'm sure it's easy, but I just haven't figured it out. Um, so anyway, uh, big adjustments are amazing. Like I've had many opportunities to make big adjustments, mainly because I've gone and messed things up big time a lot. So I find myself in that position once in a while where I'm going down this trail and I'm heading towards something, and then all of a sudden I find myself in this position where it's like, holy cow, I I got to make a major change here, or else I'm gonna be in trouble. So we ran into this actually. We're working on an album, a new single dual album. We're making an instrumentals album, and we're going through a whole bunch of stuff. We've got a lot of songs to choose from that we've worked on over the years. This would be me and Steve Nichols. You saw him on Dope Muddled Monday last week, if you were there. And he and I are working on this album, and we've got all this stuff, and we've kind of started recordings of a whole bunch of stuff, right? And a lot of them just need minor adjustments, like we were talking about yesterday. We just need to, take them and like tweak a few things here and there, maybe add a few tracks, maybe do, whatever, clean them up a little bit, remaster them, and then they'll be all set and ready to go for the next release. However, we're running into a few where either we were using older versions of the software or older versions of plugins and we don't have the stuff anymore and we have to like totally just start over.
Ooh.
You ever get to that point where you've worked really, really hard and you're going and you're going, and then it's like you get it to this point and then it's like, uh, I just have to start over. It's kind of disheartening sometimes because you're like, oh, all that work that we put into this, because we put in some work on some of these tunes for a long time, and now it's like, well, we could try to clean it up, we could try to tweak it, make it better, we could try to take all of what we have and shape it again. But man, we had to talk about this for some of these songs. We're just like, you know what, I think it would take us less time to actually just start over and re-record them
Mm.
because I know, as sad as that can sound. So those are some major adjustments that we're making just in that one project. Now, life in general, to make these major adjustments, there were times when I struggled with addiction to various different things. One of the big ones was smoking cigarettes. This was years ago, and I remember that was a major adjustment to quit. And it was a huge process, and it took a great deal of focus. It took a great deal of my life to combat that addiction and to reset my body, to be in non-smoking mode, right? So that was a major adjustment. Sometimes you've heard of people that have done interventions with their friends or family members or whatever, and they're just like, okay, this has to change. You've got to make this switch. We're seeing you go down this huge path, this path towards destruction. And, we want to let you know that you're gonna hurt yourself. So we need we're having an intervention. You're going to rehab or you're going to do whatever. A friend of mine had the same thing where he was going down a bad path, and he ended up in rehab for a couple weeks.
Mm.
But that's what he needed. That's what he needed at the time, and got him back on track. But those were times like when you're making some of these major changes, a whole bunch of your life might get put on hold for you to address this. So like for instance, my friend, when he went to rehab, like it was inpatient rehab. Like he went to a special house, building, place, whatever, and he was there for a couple weeks, dealing with, the withdrawals from whatever the substance he was on and all that stuff, and dealing with all that stuff and working with a group, to go through the psychology of it, and just having that support in house. And he was there for a couple weeks, and his job got put on hold, his family got put on hold,
Mm.
everything, everything else in his life got put on hold so he could make this major adjustment. And there are going to be times, maybe it's not rehab for you, maybe it's not quitting some kind of an addiction for you, but it can happen as we're pursuing our goals, where you find yourself in a position where it's like, oh my gosh, I am in such a messy spot right now and I'm stuck. In order to get out, I need to like abandon half of my life here and make this shift. So hopefully that's a pretty good description to get started. So take it away, Joe.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. It's big. Like big adjustments are big. I know
Hmm.
this seems so profound, but um, they they're huge. They interrupt your life. This is why we talked about yesterday. It's generally better to do the little ones, like because these big adjustments really tend to shock your life, which sometimes is what you need. Like sometimes you're facing big uphill battles that you need like the shock of your lifetime to get it to move. Um, I've I've had a very similar case. On a tangent, I guess that's not as intense. I had my previous job as a golf pro, um, where I really wasn't happy, and we talk about on this show the importance of having people around you tell you things that sometimes you don't want to hear, such as, "Hey, this job isn't really good for you," and then deciding, "Oh yeah, I should probably change that," and then dramatically changing it. Sometimes you have to do drastic things to really improve your life. Um, on a side note, again, talking about changing like little things before it gets big, I had friends telling me this wasn't for me for like years before I finally did this. Before I
Mm.
finally quit my job. So it's not
Wow.
like, hey, you know, it's never, when it comes right down to it, every decision that you end up making, um, every decision that you have, uh, it has to be eventually decided by you. Like in the finality of it, if it's going to affect your life, you have to decide it. So for me, I had friends and family telling me all the time, "You look really worn out and beat down and
Mm.
exhausted," and I was like, there wasn't a whole lot of extra like purpose behind what I did. There wasn't a whole lot of you know planning behind what I did. I just did,
Mm.
and that'll wear you out. We again, there's a reason that we had this entire process that we went through these last 4 weeks.
Mhm.
Really important. You have to plan. You have to have a purpose behind what you do, or your doing is going to be in vain. It's just going to be a waste of energy and time. You need to actually do something, or your planning is just a waste of energy and time.
Mhm.
You have to check it so that all that energy and time that you expended is expended in the right direction. And then these adjustments are for making sure that you're on the right path. So, for me, big adjustment. I quit my job, didn't have another place lined up. I just went for it. Because sometimes you have to do drastic things. I think Ryan's talked about it before, but like if you can become comfortable with the unknown, or even the worst case scenario. Joe talks about that a lot. Being comfortable with worst case scenario. What's the worst case? I'm homeless for a while. Like, will I find something? Like, okay, if that's what it takes. We're talking about big adjustments. These are adjustments that change your life.
Mhm.
And generally, the only way you come to these conclusions is because your life definitely isn't where you want it to be. Whether you've got smoking that you're addicted to, whether you're addicted to something else, whether you know, you're in the wrong career, whether you're um, mistreating some people around you, whatever it is, when you take a look at your life and go, wow, this is a big part of who I've been, I need to change that part of me dramatically. That's what we're talking about today. And for each of us, it's going to look a little bit different. And for each of us, we're going to face it at least once in our lives where we're going to have to say, nope, this isn't good. This needs to change right now. And it needs to change in a big way. So, with that, I'm going to go ahead and hand it back to Joe, who looks like he's got some more wisdom to bring to us.
Nice. You always say that. Like I don't feel like I look any different. Like,
It's because you always
is
look
this,
that way, Joe.
oh, I always look like I have something to say.
No, some wisdom to
Oh,
provide to
some
us.
wisdom to
Yeah, you
provide.
don't always look like you've got something you have to say. I say that so that you can talk and I don't have to anymore. But you always look like you have wisdom to share.
Yes. All my sage 19 years of existence, like
Mhm.
I understand now. Um, a few things are going to help in this process because, like Joe was saying, yes, we will face, all of us face major changes. Sometimes things are thrust upon us, and we have to make the change. We didn't choose to be stuck in a pandemic.
Mm.
We were forced to change our lives in major ways, like a lot of different ways. I never expected that, I should have stocked up on hand sanitizer because I was not going to be available, but there are different things like, people are making their own face masks and stuff. I mean, like these are things we normally wouldn't have done. And all these encompass this major change of lifestyle brought on by this global situation that we're dealing with. It's very interesting because, like I said, I told you I went to church in Australia this weekend, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because everything's on YouTube, right? It's great. So I was like I'm gonna go to church Saturday night at 11, which is gonna be great. But anyway, like all this stuff's the same. They're dealing with the same stuff there. They're talking about, the pandemic. They're talking about the first responders. They're talking about, all of that situation. And it's like, this is a worldwide thing. All of us are in the same soup here, right? So it's we're we're all flies in the same soup. Um
Lots of food analogies today.
I know, it's crazy. It's gonna make you hungry. Um, but at any rate, a couple of things are going to help as you go through these, as you face a major change that you might not have chosen for yourself, but you find yourself stuck in the middle of it and you're like, okay, I got to make some changes. Two things I find have helped me. Number one, be mindful of that purpose that you have, that the purpose we talked about, the and your plans and everything, like all the things that you're shooting for. That's one of the reasons we do the three-step process. Like Joe was saying, it's to get your mind pointed in the right direction, to be positive, right? It's also a great time to remind yourself of your purpose and your goals and your major things that you're shooting for, because staying connected to that is going to help you navigate big changes. And it's going to help you stay, like, as you make the change, you're going to be like, okay, if I'm trying to get there, this change needs to end up pointed there. Like somehow, however I do this big change, I need to somehow steer it in that direction. So as long as you keep that in mind, you're going to be able to end up facing that direction when you come out of it, right? The other thing is to rely on a higher power. I mean, for it's no secret, that we're, Christians. And so the higher power we rely on is Jesus. And the higher power we rely on is God. And it's like, okay, so for you to have a prayer life, a meditative life, um, in order to clear your mind, one of the things, even if you're not religious, you can take time and be in silence. Take time and meditate. Clear your mind. I know that's one of the benefits. I mean, I meditate in a non-religious way also. Like I spend time in prayer, but I also spend time in meditation where I'm just clearing out my mind of everything and spending time in silence, because what that does is kind of like a reboot for my emotions. It's like a reboot for my psyche, for my mentality, everything. Like I can just clear everything out and reset. And it's a wonderful, wonderful thing, because now what you've done is you've just taken all that junk out, and it's like, all right, now I have nothing influencing my mind. I can think clearly, I can make decisions clearly. And so I find that to be just a huge, huge benefit, especially when you're facing something major. Because when you're in the midst of a major adjustment like that, there's going to be emotion involved. You're going to have, it's going to hit you, and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, this is a big deal. And it's going to feel like it's going to pile on top of you mentally. So for you to take the time and just dismiss all of your thoughts, take some time, do some deep breathing, sit, close your eyes. As thoughts come into your mind, you just dismiss them. Say thank you, and you're dismissed. I say that to my thoughts a lot. I just be like, thank you, you're dismissed. Thank you, you're dismissed. Then thoughts scamper across my mind. Thank you, you're dismissed. You know, and after a while, you're just sitting there and you're not thinking about anything. And from there, then you can kind of re-engage and start to sort things out logically and be like, okay, this isn't so bad. Maybe you can play the worst case scenario game like Joe was just talking about. What's the worst that can happen? Okay, what do I do to prepare for that? Once you're prepared for that, now you're prepared for the worst. Everything else is a piece of cake after that. Because if you have a plan for the worst case scenario, you're ready for just about anything. So that's a really cool thing. So anyway, I would do that as you face a major change. Remember to keep your goals, your major purposes in mind. All that stuff that you were talking about in the early step, where we were talking about getting your purpose in line, focus there, and then pray, meditate, take that time to be in silence and clear your head of all the junk. Because then, as you approach a major change, you'll be able to be like, all right, now I can line these things up in an unemotional, logical way. And I can just be like, all right, this is the way to get pointed in the direction I need to go. I find that to be very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Back to you, Joe.
Cool. Thanks, Joe. Yeah, meditation can kind of be a really important aspect of finding rest. I think Joe talked about just clearing out all of your thoughts, and when you clear out all your thoughts, it gives your mind a place to like rest.
Hmm.
I know a lot of us probably right about now have a lot of things floating through there, and if you don't take time to like rest your mind, you go to bed and you're anxious, and it's tough for you to go to bed, and then you wake up, you're still anxious because you never got unanxious before you went to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
It's important to do that so that you can rest well. So, one of the other cool things about this, where Joe talks about he's just dismissing thoughts, just all of them in meditation, is you get that. We talk about training yourself to be successful. Well, after that, he talked about facing different problems. And what you'll find is that when you face certain problems, other thoughts start popping in your head that aren't helpful.
Hmm.
And once you've trained yourself to dismiss every thought, you can then train yourself to dismiss the ones that aren't helpful. There are lots and lots of things that you will do that you can use for your better. And so, hopefully, you can take some of that and apply it to whatever kind of problem you're facing.
Hmm.
In terms of the other thing that Joe talked about, which was focusing on your goal. Um, Generally speaking, the reason you're making big adjustments is because you weren't. Like you lost sight somewhere down the line of what your goals and purposes were. Um, you lost sight of, hey, what was I thinking? What what's going on? Why did I how did I get here? That's what the check stage is for, is for you to go, how in the world did I get here? And how can I go back to what I was planning to do in the first place? And so it's really, really important to keep in mind, hey, what was the purpose of all this? Why am you know that existential question? Why are we here? Um, why am I here? Why did I get here? Um, it's an important question. There's a reason it's that big cliche philosophical question, is because really you should probably ask it yourself a lot. Like at some point you're going to come down to like big existential question, and then that's a whole nother topic for maybe Free for All Friday. But uh, it's uh, it's something that you need to focus on. It's something that you need to take some time to go, am I here? Well, am I facing the right way? Am I doing what I really wanted to do with my life? And then looking at your life and going, it's time to go that way, and making that tough decision. Um, and it's always for the better. We talk about that these are the hard decisions. These are the difficult ones, the big ones. But it's always for the better. It's great to just learn that, this, even though this is gonna hurt it's time to do something. And once you reach that place, it's super super freeing. I don't I don't know if it was the same for you, Joe, but when I finally quit my job, broke out what addictions I had,
Mm.
it was just like I can do anything.
Yeah. It's weird. Like you kind of find yourself in that free fall state a little bit at first. You're just kind of like, oh, whoa. And then it's like, hey,
hmm
I'm free. It is a cool feeling.
So we're not saying all this to be like, oh, be afraid because your life is just gonna massively change. Like it's an amazing feeling.
Mm.
It is like nothing you will ever feel before or since. So um, and you can just keep it. Like it's not like it's I felt that for a little bit and now it's like gone. It's like with everything you're like, oh, I can do this whenever. Like I can turn my life on a dime if I need to. Like knowing that about yourself is really really cool. It's really
Mm.
really amazing. Um, it's a really really free feeling, and that's why we talk about it so much of kind of accepting those uh, you know different like worst case scenarios as we say it. Like because if you can accept those, like you are in such a free place to do whatever you want. It's awesome. So um, that's all I had. Did you have anything else, Joe, that you wanted to
Uh,
say?
no, that's it. I mean, I guess to summarize, it's just it can be scary to approach a big change like this, like Joe was just talking about. You can, as you're looking at it, it can be very fearful, and you're like, this is monumental, and that's a good sign that a lot of times if I'm afraid of something, most of the time that's an indicator telling me that's exactly what you need to do because naturally I feel fear of the things that I need to do in order to move forward. It's weird. Like there's this and I've just noticed this as I make decisions and as I go through my life. It's like, I look at a situation, I'm like, okay, I could do this, this, and this. And these are the decisions I have laid out in front of me. And I look at one of them makes me the most scared. And I'm like, that's probably the one I need to do. That's the one that's going to make the biggest impact. That's the one that's going to, like take me the furthest. For some reason, it always has fear attached to it. And I don't know if it's just the excitement thing. Well, we could do a whole week talking about fear and all the stuff that we deal with, and the fact that fear and excitement feel the same, like your bodily response is the same, and it's really quite amazing. So, um, but as you approach these changes, you're going to feel fear. It's okay. We all handle it. But then on the other side, like Joe was saying, it's there's freedom. There's freedom from whatever the junk was that was holding you back. That's why you made the big change in the first place, was to get rid of the junk that was holding you back. And then when you go through the major change and you look back, you're like, I made it. I made it out. And the world takes on a whole new, perspective. You're just like, wow. Like Joe was saying, you feel like you can do anything. And really you can. You can do anything. Whatever man can conceive of and believe in his mind, he can achieve. What is that? Whatever the quote is by somebody.
those words that somebody put together. Oh, nice.
Right. So, yeah, that's that. I encourage you guys. Fridays are coming. It's gonna be a good day. But if you want to hear us talk about something, go there to that link. Post something.
Otherwise, we have
Right,
to
Joe?
start coming up with the topics.
We can do that.
Yeah, we can do it.
It was funny. You should have seen us on Don't Worry Wednesday or Don't Muddle Monday, I guess that was. Ryan and I, we were talking. We're like, okay, we're running out of topics. So, because we're doing this show 3 days a week now, so it's like instead of just once a week. So we're running through the topics, and it's like, okay, we're kind of getting through our backlog of topics now. So if you want, we can just start talking about stuff. It was kind of a threat, I think, to the people in the chat because all of a sudden topics started to flood in. Like they're like, please no, don't just talk about whatever. Because we were talking about what would you get if like a zombie got bit by a vampire, would the zombie then die in the sunlight or what? Like,
Oh my goodness.
and then we were like, no, but zombies exist and vampires don't. And Ryan was like, no, if zombies exist, then vampires exist. And I'm like, what about werewolves? No, those don't exist. This isn't Twilight. So we got all talking about stuff like that. And then all of a sudden the topic started to flood in. They're like, no.
But we've seen enough.
You guys need to talk about something substantive here. Random topics, activate. Yes, we can totally do that.
That's the Nintendo. Just you activate cheats. You can get the random topics up, down, left, right, A, B, B.
EA.
EA. Ah.
EABA. Select start. Yes.
Yes. See, Joe played more Nintendo than
I did that code so many times in my life. Up, down, left, right, BA, select start. 30 guys in Contra.
Nice.
For the first time somebody showed me that, I'm like, what? You can do that? Like, yeah, somebody programmed that into the game where like you can get 30 guys. Dude, 30 guys. Because that game was so hard. You would die. It was super realistic because you know how most video games where you're shooting, like you can get shot like 5 zillion times before you die, right? Not in Contra. One bullet, boom, dead. You get hit once and you're dead. Like, whoa. So yeah, so you needed 30 guys. So that's the unrealistic part. Like you get 30 extra times to come back to life. That doesn't happen in real life, actually.
Thanks for that, Joe. All right.
You can't up, down, left, right, BA, select, start your life.
Nope, you can't. But you can come back to the show tomorrow, and that'll at least be an improvement. So, come on back tomorrow. We're gonna be here 7:00, where we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna cap off our last 4 weeks. We're gonna discuss everything we've been through, and then kind of give you guys a hey, this is where you should go from here. And then next week, we're gonna have a brand new series of things we're gonna talk about. I think Joe talked about fear, so we'll probably just end up doing that because I'm afraid to try anything else. Anyway,
we're gonna talk about fear next week.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. This has been decided right now.
All right, go.
Halfway through this show.
Let's do it. We win because we hadn't decided that yet.
We did now. Yeah.
Yes, we win. We did it. Actually, Joe did it.
Yep, Joe definitely did it.
Joe did
it. Anyway, we love having you guys here. We do want to encourage you not to attempt prison breaks. But we do want you to come back.
Yeah.
We do enjoy this. So, Raka, we look forward to your next topic. Go ahead, Joe.
Tev says breaking into a prison. Most of the time, people want to break out of a prison. Tef wants to break in.
Jeff's a brave man, a brave soul.
Yes. Yes. Into the belly of the beast we go. Ba, 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 ba. Sorry, Joe. I didn't mean to shoot you. Now
Not again.
now I got Contra on the brain. Like
Video games make you dangerous.
they do, man. Now I'm thinking.
Oh, anyway, so that we can get Joe back to his Contra that he can play, we're gonna go ahead and call it here. Check us out tonight, 9 o'clock. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, so you can be notified that Joe and Ryan are gonna be doing Don't Worry Wednesday. Today is actually Wednesday, so they're gonna be answering any kind of questions you have, any kind of concerns that might be popping up. Now is kind of a really important time to talk about it. There's been a lot of discussion that right now mental health is an issue for a lot of people because they're trapped in their houses. They're not going about their usual lives. We're not professionals, but we do care about you, and we do want to see you uh, be successful and not having to face significant mental difficulties alone. So we're here. We're here every day. You don't have to find us just on the show. If you go to bss.studio, there's Joe A. You can find his username, or you can find the Slightly Above Average Joe, which is me. We'd be happy to talk to you anytime.
Yep.
Anytime.
And anytime you see the letters CDVNL, you know it's me.
Yes.
Nobody else has that name. That was a beautiful thing. I was trying to come up with a username for something recently. I think what was it? Oh yeah, Jesse was helping me with some kind of technical issue, and I had to sign up for a G-Force account or something like that. And so for my graphics card and all that and whatever to get the latest drivers and do all this stuff right. And I'm like putting in my name. I'm putting in my Joe.Anderson. I'm putting in like all these different things. Nope, taken. I'm like, wait a second. Why did I get this name CDVNL? Oh, I could easily do this. I was like, CDVNL. Hey, I set up an account as CDVNL. This is perfect. So that anytime you see those letters together, you're gonna know it's me.
Mm-hmm.
I put a tag on it. Put a tag on myself.
He's been tagged.
Yeah.
Which means he's it. All right, guys. Thanks for another wonderful show. It is always fun. We'll catch you tomorrow, same time, same place, 7 Eastern, and we're gonna have another wonderful day. Catch you guys later. Watch out for Joe's karate chop punches. Let's see.